Welcome back. This is MC1 Gamer, and I've got a little bit of news that was posted on one of the Google Plus communities that I'm a member of. One of the guys there noticed something on the Games Workshop website. It's a follow-up to the fact that this army was just disappearing from the online website, where the models were just no longer obtainable and you were no longer able to get any of these models. And now they seem to be back. Yes, Bretonnians are back. What does this mean? Could it mean that this army is now no longer in risk for being squatted? That no longer it's in risk for potentially disappearing? Is it something that perhaps will have more of a presence, not just in the end times with one of these upcoming book releases, with some more rules, with some maybe new and interesting units? But maybe they'll have their own an updated book coming within Ninth. We've seen rumors that involve them being potentially merged with Empire, where Empire and Bretonnia are just going to get so pummeled that they'll just wind up gathering together into one army, similar to some of the combined armies that we've seen in the first two books, in Nagash and Glotkin. But we don't know what that means. But one thing we can be sure of is you now can order Grail Knights, Questing Knights, Trebuchets, the Grail Reliquae, however you pronounce it, many other models, the Fey Enchantress, all these things were discontinued. They were out of print. Other models like, for instance, the Battle Standard Bearer, the Paladin Battle Standard Bearer, which you can't field the army based on the current rules. Battle Pilgrims, all these things were going through the roof in terms of prices on the secondary market and on auction houses because they weren't available on Games Workshop's website. Now they are. But here's the caveat. The models that were in metal are now resin, which is just another way of saying fine cast. And we all know how everybody feels about fine cast. And look, it's a compromise. I would rather see some support for this army and have it not go away, and have the potential that not only will its presence continue, that maybe it will evolve with a new book and with some updates, and deal with the idea of fine cast, which very well could be improved since they had initially started it. Look, they want to rebrand it and call it resin, fine. But the fact is that that all of these models are now back, with a couple of very interesting changes, but they're all back, which means that they're very unlikely to now be disappeared by Games Workshop. There's got to be a reason. Part of it is that in the latest White Dwarf, they're actually in a battle. A battle report, and they were also there was a couple missions in the Nagash book where they were, the very first two missions, which I did with Anthony from the Sustainable Center, who's a very big Bretonnian player, and it's near and dear to his heart as well, this army. We did a couple of those scenarios, and they had some interesting rules that maybe we'll see become more permanent, in addition to maybe some some more evolution with this army. So there's been a presence, they've been addressed in the end times so far, and the fact that all of these now missing units and characters and models that you couldn't, unless you paid ridiculous prices on the secondary market to acquire, you weren't able to actually field the army if you wanted to get into it. And who would jump into an army anyway with the idea that maybe it would go away? Now they're back. That says a lot. But here's a couple of things that I've noticed. It's great that we're seeing, the return of things like the Battle Standard Bearer and just being able to get Knights of the Realm again. What I find interesting is they're now offering an individual Pegasus. And I don't remember them doing that before. What does this say to me? This could potentially be another unit, maybe another chaff unit, that is returning, that is being introduced, that instead of having maybe the squires or yeomen be your chaff units, now you'll have Pegasus. You can have units of skirmishing Pegasus, and that makes so much sense to me, because having more flyers and having more Pegasi on the table is a good thing for the Army. I think that will help the Army tremendously. Before, you had these really just useless squires that easily would get run off the board or shot down. Having multi-wound Pegasi is ideal, because this is just the kind of thing that I would use in my Vampire Counts army, which has a muscle and theme, which is using a lot of Bretonnian models mixed in with Vampire Counts and Undead. I'm using these fallen Pegasi as my Fellbats, and I use them as chaff. They're not, shit-kicker units. They're units that go up there and hunt for war machines and, just try to redirect, and generally what you would use with various different types of chaff units. Individual models to be able to purchase that are just Pegasi means that there must be an inclusion, in my opinion, of a new unit of Pegasus that maybe can run with, say, a knight, a paladin on a Pegasus. So now you don't have to chaff with these very expensive Pegasus knights. What I've seen that's missing are the Yeomen. I don't see the Yeomen reintroduced in this list. I mean, I see the Fey Enchantress, I see the Knights Errant, I see all these other units, but I don't see any of the Yeomen. I don't even see archers in this list, and that says something. I mean, you can get some of this stuff on the secondary market, but is it possible maybe some of those units are being removed so that instead you have a much more mobile army, but maybe a less shooty army? I'm all for that. A lot of people didn't take archers in the first place, and a lot of people didn't take yeomen and squires in the first place, just because they were wasted points. And I remember Anthony from the Sustainable Center very, very effectively using his Pegasus Knights as chaff units, but those are expensive units. I find this encouraging. It's a theory. Maybe this was here before. You tell me if you had the presence of mind to see this in when this was previously fully populated with all these models. But tell me what your thoughts are, what your theories are. Please share, again, if you have any rumors. And I'm back from Halloween and building my the Mr. Freeze do-it-yourself costume. So it's all going to be all Warhammer all the time, with maybe a sprinkling of Disney Infinity and X-Wing, but I'm really going to be focusing on bat reps that I have that I'm cutting, and these types of things that I'm looking to release, as well as my Convert This series that I've just recently introduced. So if you're interested in any of this stuff and you haven't already, please feel free to like, please feel free to comment and join the conversation, but also please feel free to subscribe. Have a great day, everybody.